people come from. So it was pretty cool. And to see them all like fucking like just like getting down, like really feeling for music, honestly.
I think that before like COVID, everybody was locked up in their house and stuff. And you had like and the reason we have so many new kids now is because we have a generation, like, once they got to that age of getting into this kind of music, they were trapped inside, so they had the internet to rely off of it. So they probably just saw a bunch of Hate 5-6 videos, they went down the Spotify rabbit hole, they found Bandcamp, and over time, that generation, because they were all locked up inside, more kids found out about it, and that's what we're seeing now.
It's more accessible.
Yeah, it's way more accessible, a lot more kids found out about it. It's freaking cool because, I mean, back when I first started going to shows, that house show would have never been as fucking crazy as it was. You wouldn't have had like 50 kids dancing in a pit all at once. You wouldn't have had like 100, 150 people in a backyard on like a Thursday night. You just would not have seen it.
No, that was fucking nuts, dude.
That right there was
that
like,
shit freaked me out.
That was insane.
It was sick, honestly. I think that I think a lot of people also like had a lot of built up shit because of COVID. You know what I mean? Like we spent like a year and a half where we couldn't
spent the whole time in their houses.
Right, like where you were just fucking locked up. A lot of us couldn't see people. A lot of us couldn't go anywhere. Like I worked in healthcare during the peak of COVID.
What were you doing?
I worked at a nursing home.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, so it was really rough. Like I can't even imagine how it was on like healthcare workers and first responders that work at hospitals and shit like that, because it was rough on me at a nursing home. And like I think for a lot of us, like we went through a lot of shit during that lockdown, and like I feel like a lot of people just had a lot of shit built up. You know what I mean? Like we haven't been out in a while, and I feel like also a lot of people that didn't have the confidence to show up before suddenly built up the confidence because they were like, fuck it, I haven't been out in a year, I'm just gonna go, you know what I mean?
They just wanted to experience shit.
Right, absolutely.
And they got kind of like hooked.
Absolutely,
yeah.
They came out of nowhere. And like, again, we owe a lot of that to social media for sure. And again, it is definitely a double-edged sword. But we definitely owe it to social media that, you know, hardcore has become more accessible and more people can get into it, more people can go to shows. Like, it's a lot easier to find a show to go to nowadays. Like, you can literally just go to a page, you know what I mean? Like, for us, like, you could go to, like, TuneIn 520 or, like, Rock and Roll Arizona, like, pages like that.
Yeah.
And they fucking all post, like, all the shows that are happening that week or that month or whatever. So it's a lot more accessible to actually, like, be able to get to shows and shit like that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid and having to, like, take the bus to, like, 3 or 4 different places just to find flyers.
Yeah.
And then go to it was fucked.
Yeah.
And then find
but it was also kind of cool.
Right, I was going to say, don't get me wrong, there's definitely, like, an element that I personally, like, that's why I really like the kind of the revival of, like, old school shit. As far as, like, in punk and hardcore.
Shout out Reset Magazine.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what's up? You know, because I love zines, I love handmade posters, I love physical posters, like, I love physical media. Yeah, like, I love that shit. Like, when people make tapes, CDs, like, shit like that. I'm not gonna front, like, I do like Ask a Punk type shit, you know what I mean? Because I think it keeps that, like, original element of like we made this and it's ours for us type of shit.
I think it's really important. There is the one thing missing, and obviously there's been like so much growth that you can't take away from TikTok and stuff. But the thing that is missing for sure is definitely your relationship with the stuff that you listen to or have. It's just a lot. I mean, shit, man. Like, I used to buy a CD and listen to it like 100 fucking times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like, now you'll hear a song that you really like, and, I'll just put that on the playlist, and maybe it'll pop up. And then you don't even bother. Like I don't know, everybody's different. Like, I'm kind of into music, and I won't bother to look up the fucking album sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
like the single song that lasts longer in my head.
it's just the
I'm
way.
very similar like that. Like,
It's just the way it is, though.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
So then it was nice when you had to go out and buy a CD, and it also put a lot of value on the work that bands put in.
Absolutely, because you had to actually like. Well, that's the thing too. Is like, again, you have the double-edged sword of social media and technology, where realistically speaking, our attention spans aren't that great because of it.
No.
To begin with, but then like. I feel like a lot of times because you don't have that physical element, it's hard to just sit there and listen to it. You know what I mean? Like, I remember like buying CDs and like hitting up my cousins and being like, "Hey, dude, like, do you guys want to come over so we could like listen to this CD together?" Like, we would literally sit in a fucking circle in my room playing the new Linkin Park CD for an hour. Yeah, like.
There was,
like, oh my god, yeah, you know, like, you're like, holy shit, let's hope my mom doesn't walk in. Like.
When I interviewed Ruben, he was talking about that, how, like, when back in the 90s, when he was younger and, like, kind of just jamming and stuff with people, it was such, like, a ritual to, like, wait for an album to drop and then, like, go to the homie's house who had the best fucking sound system and everybody would sit around and listen to it.
Parties.
And then they would get, he said, like, you know, he mentioned it, and I mean, I agreed with him. I mean, I think there's an element to where he's 100% right. There's also an argument to be made. He was talking about how, and this is going to segue well into the next question, actually. You know, about, you know, when he was, you would have to take a CD, like, and you'd have to pick your guitar up and, like, figure out what scale it was.
Oh, you couldn't look up tabs.
You couldn't look up tabs.
Ultimate Guitar didn't fucking know.
You couldn't sample something. You couldn't, it was like, so it was kind of like, it made you like a good player. You know what I mean? Like,
you
obviously,
you had to figure it out. You had to put the work into it.
And then even like people that are technically proficient these days, there's still like an element that you're kind of losing on, I think. And a lot of your sound too. Not that you guys are awesome. I'm just saying, like, it's a thing. We talked about it. This thing came up where, you know, that's how you would develop your sound. You'd want to emulate something you like,
And you gotta find it yourself.
and you'd have to find it. And then in that process, you might stumble on something that
you like better.
or something that like identified with you, and then it's this, now like that's a whole fucking genre now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But that's besides the point. Either way, that is going back though. Like the physical shit, there's a lot of merit to it, and it's nice to have it around. It puts you in a mindset too. Like when you go in your room, I used to have posters and CDs all over my room.
Absolutely.
I'd be in there and I'd be like, shit, I want to go fucking play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even
Or
just physical tickets. Like,
Yeah.
I miss that a lot.
Yeah.
something to
Now
hold on to.
It's all like a barcode on their phone.
I'm like, I can't keep this. I can't show this to my nieces and
I
nephews.
still have my This Is Hardcore ticket in my phone.
So, all right. So we covered that. That was actually like a nice sideline. So the next question was actually going to be, what's the writing process like for you guys? How do you come up with songs? How does it go?
I mean, so far, like, when we first started, like, I came with my lyrics as the vocalist separately, and then, like, Kev and Steve kind of already had shit they had been sitting on. Some of it for years,
No,
literally.
actually, no. The first 4 songs that we had.
Well, now it's
Oh, yeah,
different,
yeah.
But originally, like, they had shit that they were sitting on for, like, other bands, or, like, you know what I mean, shit that they just kind of already had on the brain. UC obviously had, like, a play in that, in the EP and shit. But, like, that's kind of how we still keep the process now. Like, the guys do their thing with the music, and they kind of do what they want to do. I throw in my 2 cents, and I'm like, hey, I want to hear a little bit of this, and I need a little bit of this in this song. But we kind of, they're 2 separate elements, and then we kind of bring them together. Like, I have a lot of shit that I can sit on and kind of bring out, because I'm a writer, like, I do poetry and stuff, regardless of the band. So I do have stuff, like, kind of archived that I'm like, oh, I could probably use this, you know what I mean? But it's a weird transition of being confident enough to do it. But I think it's a really cool system that we have, because, like, I don't limit them and they don't limit me, but then once we merge it together, we're able to bounce off of each other and be like, hey, like, I don't really like that, can we do this a little different? Like, you know, we tweak it a lot, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of the collaborative process usually. Like sometimes you won't hear a flaw or something in something that you wrote until somebody says like, hey, you know, it sounds pretty dope. Don't take this the wrong way, but maybe if you did it like
Yeah.
this, though.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a Frankenstein type of
Hey, that
process.
sucks.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Don't do that.
That's how you got. Sometimes
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
hey, what the fuck are you
No,
thinking?
literally, that's me and him.
Why don't you just go home? I'll
That's
play
me
it.
and him. We'll talk to each other like that. We're like, hey, don't do that.
Hey, don't stop what you're doing there.
You know how you did that? Maybe don't
Don't.
anymore.
He's like,
Baby, just don't.
that's the last time.
Sounds cool.
That's the last time I'll do that.
This
Steven
sucks.
doing the countdown.
Guys, I really want another beer. I'm
You
sorry.
didn't go on the countdown.
All right,
Oh, yeah, you're good. You're good.
let's take a.
Get a beer, dude. Break.
We're almost done.
I'm like, are we breaking the live or is it staying?
He's got a beer.
Oh, it's still on.
Oh, Jesus.
Who wants to see my sick ass integrity tattoo?
Yeah.
Show him your veins.
Sick ass. Really, yeah, sick ass.
Who wants to see his ass?
It's literally me and my homie that's from California.
Corky, who out?
This is PBS. You can't show your ass right here.
Yes.
PBS.
I saw an Arthur
Never
episode. Apparently Arthur ended recently.
Sir.
NDW is a cop.
Sir.
Alright, I'll finally shout out Corey.
Yeah,
who's
I'll
fucking-
step on that.
Oh shit. Sir.
Sir.
Right,
You
low.
know, take a drink every time Kevin says COVID. You know, Steven is so buff. So what kind of beer you guys drinking? Hi, Steven, Tony. That's Tony. They're in California. They're in San Diego. Take a drink every time. Steven's so buff. What kind of beer you guys drinking? Hi, Steven.
Jesus Christ.
Hi, Tony. Is he watching?
Who's watching?
It's literally me and some of my homies.
You're watching your own interview?
I am.
I am.
Sick.
And then
He's a very vapid individual.
And then one of my homies from they're in California right now. They're working.
I specifically told my one homie to be in here, and I think he ghosted me, bro.
Was it Chattahoochee?
It's the dude no, not him. I don't even know.
No, not him.
The dude I'm supposed to be doing the magazine with, he's like, oh, contributing half the articles. I'm like, oh, dude, you got to be in the fucking chat. You can help me do the interview. And he's like, all right, I'll be there, bro. All right.
It's just an F. I'm gonna go beer.
I might have fucked up too, though.
Oh, yeah, we're drinking PBR.
Damn. We should have just gotten like one person. I could have gotten the whole round.
Oh no.
I wouldn't have paid for it, but I could have grabbed it. That's funny, man. You used to go to Scrappy. I'm sure we played a fucking show together. Did you used to play with Truancy all the time? Or what?
I truly.
Or were you
The,
just?
the only name that like really stuck out was Truancy until you mentioned fucking negative feedback, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that name also like really like brings it out. Because wasn't Griffin also in that band?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, man, we were pretty shitty. But yeah, the Scrappy show stuff. I remember talking to Kathy, and back then, I feel like, especially on like the punk side of things, the hardcore thing was still popping pretty good back then.
It seemed like
With
it.
the punk bands, dude, they were really just like not doing a very good job
promoting wise,
it.
yeah.
It was kind of frustrating, dude. That was actually caused a lot of stress for me and my band because, like, guys, if we're gonna play a show, we need to practice for it, and we need to fucking like tell people it's actually happening. And they'd be like, if we have to do that, it's not even fun anymore.
It's not even punk, is it?
I'm like, all right,
Debatable, very
yeah,
debatable.
you know what? You're right. Maybe I should just fucking fuck myself, dude.
Like, wow, you're like, I'm starting to doubt everything I fucking.
Yeah, maybe. I guess I'm just a fucking idiot, dude, for sure. You're right. They get like mad.
Probably been called a sellout or something. Sure.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm not really into this playing to 3 people. Maybe we could fix that. What the fuck, man? It's like, oh shit, my bad. Yeah, yeah.
One of the 3 people being the sound guy.
Yeah, right.
I hear that.
No, we're on the live still.
Oh, live? What?
We're alive.
We're
Yeah,
still
it's a
alive.
delay. So it's like a 10-second delay.
Is it a 10-second delay?
Yeah, because I can walk. I like leaned over for a second, and then 10 seconds later you see me leaning
You were scared
over.
by like
They're
the fucking-
censoring us, dude.
They're censoring
They're
us.
making
man.
sure none of this sensitive information gets out.
Hey, here's Tony. Come on, speak. I want to hear you.
Hello,
I'm sorry, is this Tony's interview, bro?
This motherfucker is watching us and he wants to talk to us.
That's what the chat's for.
But it's only on your phone unless I like.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I might hide shit from you. All right.
In your sleeves? It's like he was too buff for the ball.
What did you say? Hey, this is
being rude.
Hey, we gotta get back to the interview.
Intermission's over.
Goodbye.
Keep watching.
All right.
Damn, it's barely catching up to you.
So,
Oh, damn, you fucking sleep right here.
what are the lyrics usually about?
Honestly, it's just a variety of things, like everything that I experience. And as a person, like, it literally varies from my experiences with, addiction, whether it's mine, someone else's, yeah, just like, probably not like the nicer stuff in life, realistically speaking, but, I feel like that's what it's for.
Yeah, the genre.
Yeah.
So it's just personal experience, whatever's on your mind, basically.
For the most part, yeah, I feel like a lot of the shit that I write about is also really fueled by like the social environment that's happening at that point. Like, I've always grown up to believe in like sticking up for what you believe in, and my convictions have always been very strong as far as like people, deserving justice and people deserving ethical treatment, and I've always been very anti-establishment and anti-government. A lot of, the shit that I write is shit like that too. Absolutely, like ACAB forever. It's just like shit like that. Shit that like speaks to me and I know that speaks to other people in their community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that are in hardcore. That's why I think it's fucking silly and people are like, you should talk about politics. Like, politics has nothing to do with this. But I think it's bullshit. I think you're a fucking poser if you say that. You're a fucking poser.
Yeah, the point of hardcore is political. If you want to not be political, you start a fucking power metal band.
Exactly. Like, you start some bullshit.
Well, no, if you want to start a power metal band, then you're probably a Nazi.
It's still political.
I feel like people take it the
You
wrong
start
way,
a thrash
too.
metal. No, thrash metal's pretty. Whatever, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like people take it the wrong way because I'm like, I'm not saying that that's all you have to fucking talk about. You can talk about whatever the fuck you want, but like, right? But like, you have to stand for fucking something. You know what I mean?
You're also
like,
not an emo band,
right.
right?
Right.
Like, you're not a fucking emo band.
Exactly.
It's not all heartbreaking.
Right. I'm not
Yeah.
just gonna talk about.
So you can't just talk about, like,
that.
whatever the fuck's bumming you out. You're on a platform. That's kind of the point. It's
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
it's inherently political, or you could be
Trying to get a point
introspective.
across.
Right, and like for me, punk and hardcore was presented to me as a form of resistance, as a form of rebellion, as a form of not conforming.
Being yourself.
Right, like so for me, like it has a lot to do with that. It's rooted in pretty much not leaning towards oppression. So that applies to pretty much everything around us, especially being a first generation like immigrant, like being Mexican. I can't not be political. My entire existence is fucking political. You know what I mean? Like, and being queer as well, and being non-binary. Literally, my entire existence is political. So I'm not just gonna be like, whatever. Like, it's fine. Like, it's not fine. It's not fine.
Nothing's ever fine.
Never, actually.
Let's get that across. And it's getting worse.
I haven't been okay since.
It's like, I wasn't okay before, but I didn't know it until then.
Sure shit are and not now.
Shit on my life. Still not okay.
Know where I was.
I'm just trying to make sure I get everything.
Oh, you're good. I'll be talking a lot. I get it.
So tell me to shut up when you want.
I won't listen, but you can tell me anyway.
Did you just say fuck you? I won't do you talking.
It's like a Raging Against the Machine.
Crazy. I told
Raging Against
Alex. I told Alex from the U of A radio station. I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, I'm not trying to pull a Rage Against the Machine on you. I was like, we could not do the live show. I was like, I will be cussing by accident. You're asking.
Where is your guys's? Where have you guys played so far? As far as I don't want to go like laundry list of venues because that would just be like. Obviously, you played Tucson a ton.
Well, the main question I'm sure you mean is like, have we played out of state or something?
Well, I know you guys have been out of town, but like, how many places?
Well, we've only been out of city. We haven't
Really?
been out of state.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've only been out of city to
Mainly
fucking
Mesa.
Iowa,
Right, yeah, and we've only been to the Nile, as far as like Mason, out of city goes. Yeah. Mason? Yeah, Mason. The Nile,
It's all
yeah,
fucking-
Mason. It's all being Mason. But yeah, it's literally just been Tucson and Mesa. Anything besides that, as of yet, not quite yet.
I think you guys probably be pretty well received anywhere you went.
I genuinely think so too.
California.
It's just a matter of connection.
Right. I have like a lot of homies that have hit us up and they're like, dude, like your shit would pop off here, like come see us, blah blah blah. And like I have people that have hit me up and they're like, yo, if you want to book a show, let me know. But it's also kind of tricky because like,
Half of those are real.
well, not really. It's more so of like,
The
it's
logistics
tricky
of
the
how-
logistics of figuring it out for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All
Like,
just pile into an SUV.
well, I mean it's more than that.
No,
you
you
know
gotta
what I
get
mean?
a
Like,
We
van.
got fucking jobs.
we have jobs and
fucking
shit. Like
bills and
Riley
shit.
is a bartender.
I
He
might
like
have a-
he's in peak season right now for like, you know what I mean? Because we live in a fucking university town. Shit like that. Like,
I'm a student. I also work.
right, same. You
I
know
got
what I
hit
mean?
by a
So it's
car.
just like figuring out fucking.
So
Owned by a U of A
can-
student.
So you can call out of work, but school it's like it's there, and if you miss
Oh
it,
yeah.
that's on
I mean,
you.
I'm not saying you don't have to justify anything to me. I'm
Oh
not
no,
here.
no,
no,
yeah,
we're
yeah,
not,
for
we're
sure,
not.
yeah.
We're not justifying.
And I mean, that doesn't mean we don't plan on it.
Yeah, you guys
at all,
definitely
you know what I
can.
mean? Like,
And you know
It's
what?
definitely a thing we want to do.
yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna have this thing going out to a lot of people, and I could probably get you guys some pretty solid connections.
Oh yeah.
If that
yeah,
was
like
something.
we definitely want to aim for like next year because we're hoping we can start recording before the end of the year.
Mhm.
So that way, by next year, we'll be able to release some stuff and we'll release some more shit and then that way we can, get around. But it just takes more planning than anything. We definitely want to though. Like I feel like a big portion of the people that have asked us or hit us up that they want to see us in has been Texas. Has been a lot of people hitting us up from there. A lot of people from California. Yeah. Oddly enough, right? Yeah.
Texas. What's so good
Yeah.
about
So a lot of people from Texas. A lot of people from California. I've had some friends from the East Coast even that are like, dude, like, hit me up, and I'm like, you're way out of my way, dog.
Honestly, I think if you guys went to the East Coast, you'd probably fucking crush it.
Yeah.
The thing is, in the East
More
Coast,
so
if
than-
we're gonna come from here to the East Coast, there has to be like a little mini tour at least.
Well, yeah, you're not gonna go out there for one thing
What's
stupid.
that? No, yeah.
It helps that all the states are fucking like small, and you can go from one
Yeah,
state.
Dude, I want to go Washington D.C. after the show. We're gonna go hit up the mall. Go to the museum.
I want to
of Natural History.
recreate the whole thing. In front of
Go talk to E. McKay, dude.
Go to Canada.
Oh, no, like the Smithsonian.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't wanna go-
Why would I go to the West?
Not just any mall.
No, I want to go to the mall about our history. I want to get a T-shirt with T-Rex on it.
I'm putting a big like
Sounds autistic.
Not at the museum.
semicolon and says Riley wants to get a T-shirt with the T-Rex.
T-Rex T. He wants a T-Rex T.
T-Rex T. X-T-Rex T-Rex.
He's like XL T-Rex T.
All right, so
Don't write that down.
it's written.
Write it down.
It's written. It's on video. It's going in the magazine.
X-T-Rex T.
X-T-Rex T, dude.
X-T-Rex T.
T-Rexacy.
Oh, God. I'm going to... That's been bugging me all night.
T-Rex.
That's why you bench so much, dude. It's the T-Rex arms, bro.
It really is a T-Rex song.
Anyway, all right, let's get serious. You guys are. So, all the shows you guys have played up to this point. What's the craziest story you want to say, what's the most notable thing that's happened? Anything nuts happened? What's your favorite show? What's the biggest thing that pops out to you? And it doesn't have to be the same for everybody, but what's the most notable thing that happened so far in your career? Which one? The one that I was at? Or
There was a fight. That one?
You realize we played like 6 back.
yeah, you've played a lot.
The one at Nadia's house.
The Odin benefit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was
And I agree with
That
you.
was
on
fun.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely the biggest like backyard show we ever did.
Yeah, that one was nuts.
And I feel like it's a very significant backyard show.
Milestone.
Yeah.
I think it's like my favorite show that we played because I think there was like one point of like the last song that we were playing that it was just kind of like a breakdown where I just kind of like look, and it's just like a bunch of people just like fucking going at it, and I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
let's go, like it's hype.
With all the dust going around.
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My
Very
bass is like
cinematic.
caked in dust after
Yeah.
the
That
No,
shit
there
was
was
great.
definitely fucking dirt boogers for fucking days.
show. For days.
After that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nuts, dude.
It was
I
sick,
couldn't-
though.
It was fucking awesome. I was fucking like,
Yeah, I was.
I was in
blown
such a
away by
good
the
mood
response
for like
on
2
that.
days. I wasn't
Same.
even like involved.
Even before we played, it was like, how many people were there? I'm like, damn.
It was crazy.
It was massive.
It's like,
Wasn't that like
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a Thursday.
Yeah.
That was a Thursday.
It's
That
like
was
you
a
saw
benefit
the
for
people that
Odin.
were
Just so I
immediately
could play
there,
it.
but then you didn't realize like there's people like way behind them because the yard was kind of weirdly shaped.
It was a big yard though.
It was a big yard,
packed.
and the yard was full. You know, like it was a big like yeah, it was like a big horseshoe around the porch that we were playing under. But there was
They had a
lot
big
of
like
people
fire
behind.
pit right where
In the middle.
Oh yeah.
the pit was supposed.
Oh yeah,
not even like where the pit was
we
supposed to
we
be.
heard
But
many accounts of people tripping over it.
Yeah.
everybody was
Tripping
eating shit
over
off
the fire
that thing,
pit.
dude.
Seemed like half.
You know, people tried to guard it, but they're like, no, we're getting pushed in.
So it was crazy because of the turnout
Oh yeah.
and just the atmosphere in general.
100%.
Right, I'm
I would
just
say,
trying to
it was a
paraphrase
turnout.
so I
How
can-
many people just showed up?
Yeah. So how many releases have you guys had?
Just one.
Just the one thing that
Yeah,
came out
just
recently?
the one. Just the EP. that
You
came
guys
out.
didn't have one before or something? I thought you had. Right on.
No, just one.
Yeah, it was just that.
Oh, also, I forgot to mention, I want to touch back on that last question. That AZHC show that we played at Congress was also one of my
That was a fun one.
favorites. Just to like see
Yeah.
a different one. Because that shit was really fun. One of
ACXDC are the fucking. They're the shit.
They're the shit, yeah.
They're
And
the
like
shit.
one of the dudes in ACXDC like came up and talked to me and he was like, oh yeah, like I thought you guys were great, like I fucked with you, so I was hyped on that. Like that for me was like a peak moment. But that show was sick as fuck because a lot of people showed up, a lot of people were there for a set, and a lot of people like got down during that set. Like
Yeah.
there were multiple moments where I looked over and I was like, damn, these guys are beating the shit out of each other. Like I love
And
it.
it's cool too because they were kind of. ACXDC's like. Definitely not out of line for you guys to open for them, but it's like a little bit.
Right, it's like a little
It's
It's
a
a
harder
little
band.
different,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So it's almost like
Absolutely.
flattering, I guess.
Yeah,
or-
definitely.
It was super
Yeah.
flattering.
It was super flattering. Like
We
the
did an
fact
integrity
that-
cover like to open up.
Yeah, like we had
to.
to. Yeah, like the dudes in Congress are so nice. Like the fact that they like gave us that opportunity was like.
Well, I mean, we're no strangers to like mixed bills either.
Yeah, we love mixed bills.
Yeah, no, I think it's super important actually.
I love mixed bills. They're so fun.
As far as like like different types of like metal or hardcore,
Honestly, I love super like odd mixed bills too. Those
we-
are my
we used to,
favorite.
with metal, we used to play like rap,
Yeah.
like rap and then hardcore, like we like alternate like that.
The thing I've noticed, like just being fucking like old as shit. I'm not that old. I just act like it. I'm only a little older than you, but
You like to think so.
well, because I've been fucking around for too long. That's why. But dude, you know, and I'm not that I'm like a super fan of every genre necessarily, but there's so many. I noticed there's like a huge through line with like just different types of. Like a lot of people that are into hardcore are into like different types of like electronic and dance music and stuff
Oh, I
like
love
that.
that shit.
Because it's all kind of visceral and groove oriented. You know what I mean? So then I think people, they get it in their head that it's all so different and they don't want to, you know, oh yeah, we're this type of band. But what they don't realize is like half the people that are into this genre are also into the shit that you're doing. It's definitely like a, I don't know. it's definitely just a thing, and I think it is good to mix things up. You know, you got to be within reason. Obviously, you don't want like an indie band playing with you. It'd be kind of fucking weird. But or you
I'll be
could.
so real with you, I
It
do.
could work. It could
I
work.
do.
I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't be
We've literally
acceptable.
done it before. We did it with Alex's.
I'm not saying it
show.
wouldn't be acceptable. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like,
I think it's great. I think it's so fun. Like I said, I love odd fucking mixed bills.
Because even those indie kids love hardcore.
Yep.
I've heard of like that super soft fucking indie girl, Julian Baker. She's like opened up for like punk and hardcore shows.
Yeah, I
Before
love
she
Julian
was like,
Baker. Yeah, well, because she
bigger.
fucks heavily with like.
she's
Yeah.
like fucking like terror shirts. Like
Yeah,
fucking
dude,
on stage.
like Phoebe
Yeah.
Bridges was wearing like a
Bridges, too.
fucking
Yeah.
Dying Wish sweater. I was
Yeah.
like, huh? That's sick. I think that's sick as fuck.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I maybe
Yeah.
worded that like a little wrong, but
Maybe like
I
a
mean,
little odd.
It is odd.
It's
for
like-
sure.
in my opinion, and this is totally like not important. Like on like a bigger like festival setting, I think it's cool to mix that much. If it's like a 3-band show, maybe, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, to each their own. And I don't fucking feel so strongly about it. I'd be like, hey, that's not what it's like, whatever. But
you can't
I definitely
play-
like the
you can't
idea
play
of mixing
here.
up genres as far as like whatever. Maybe it's just because I don't like indie.
Yeah, that could be it.
There's nothing
a little
wrong
bit
with
of
it.
bias there.
So, going back though, so presently your only release is, what was that one called?
Strength through wounding.
Strength Through Wounding? And okay, so you guys have been around for about 3 years, give or take.
Yeah.
Because 2019,
Yeah.
2020,
I'd say
kind
like 2 active.
of 2 active.
Does COVID count?
Well, that's what I'm
That's why I
saying.
said 2 active.
That's why, like, yeah, because that's why I said, like, you know, around there. These are your first recordings. Was this, like, latest EP, was that a concerted, like, did you guys, like, plan that? Did you, like, pick and choose the songs you chose to use? Was it, like, a group thing, or did you just kind of compile everything you've written up to this
So
point?
that was actually all of our songs that we had at the time.
Okay.
We've since written a few more. But yeah, that was literally like everything we had.
It was
Which-
just mostly about like getting something out as soon as we could.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that we could just get the ball rolling.
Well, it's really fucking
It was
good.
it was it was
Thank
it was,
you.
at the, it was at the
Awesome.
start
Yeah.
of everything opening back up.
Yeah.
So we were trying to get during COVID we were getting together and trying to get something out.
I was touring along too, so like, I was
Yeah, he was in another
So,
band.
I guess I am tripping, but that's not. I thought it came out fairly recent, or is that actually older now?
It's like a year.
It's a year
It's
older.
gonna be a year next month.
For some reason, I felt like it came out a couple months ago now. I don't know why. Maybe it's just when I found it. I don't know. 'Cause, yeah, that's just me.
No, it was this year.
But well, this year's not pretty
Yeah,
close to
it's
being over. Though.
Yeah, no. It feels like it was a few years ago, but no.
No, it's gonna be a year old in November.
Which is also like my fucking concept of time is so fucked up, dude. Like I don't. It could have come out a year ago, and I'm like, oh, that was like yesterday, right?
Yeah.
But, so, all right, we're getting close to the end. What are you guys' plans moving forward? Like, what do you want to do with this?
I think we're just mostly trying to see like how far it can go. We're just trying to have fun more than
Yeah,
anything.
which is kind of like
Yeah.
what I
feel
expected.
like people have a big misconception of like what hardcore is meant to be and what hardcore bands are meant to be. You know what I mean? Because it has become so accessible. Because you are seeing bands in hardcore get big, like commercial big. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're seeing bands like Turnstile and like shit like that get these fucking like giant brand deals and playing shit like Coachella. And I'm not necessarily being like fuck that, but I think people have the misconception that that's gonna happen to like any and every hardcore band. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's weird to get into it with that mentality.
No,
and
it's
like with that
absolutely-
goal, with that idea.
I think it's like the race, like in the '80s, like we gotta get a record deal, we got a record.
Right,
record deal.
right.
Well, for
Everybody-
mainstream
everybody's-
bands, though.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
everybody's trying to get like a record deal. Like, no, we're not.
And that didn't
That's
necessarily
not our.
mean anything.
Yeah, it's not necessarily our goal. We're
You
just
can't get a
trying
record. There are no record deals.
No,
anymore.
exactly. We're just trying to get ourselves out there as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like I guess you could say organically, through word of mouth or even through social media, and just see where it takes us.
Just having fun with it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not. It's nothing like where it's not. We're not treating it as a job.
Right.
It's a hobby for all of us, and we just enjoy doing it.
Like, we're committed enough to the point where we're like we've all talked about it, you know what I mean? Especially after having like a really good show, we're like, damn, like, this is sick, like, let's keep doing this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, we've committed enough to the point where we know this is going to be a long-term project, but it's not something that we're like, oh, you guys, we're going to get, like, I'm not going to front, I'm very spiteful, so,
Yeah.
like, I want us to get, not necessarily huge per se, but I want us to get the recognition that we do deserve, right? Like, and
Get the message out there.
right, absolutely. And I think, like, especially because, and I mean, I'm spiteful in the sense that, like, I've already had plenty of people that were like, oh, fuck that, like, you guys aren't gonna do shit, like, blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, a majority of that is aimed towards the fact that, like, I'm a girl in a band. It's really dumb and it's unfortunate. I didn't think it was gonna happen to me. I was like, damn, I thought we were like over this shit, right?
Yeah.
But apparently some people aren't. That's fine, whatever. But I've already had people straight up like, oh, well, you're just gonna be a gimmick band. Someone literally said that to me once.
What's the gimmick?
Just a girl.
Me being a girl, like literally just me existing as a girl is the gimmick, I guess.
the front person in the
Right,
band.
and like that's
Hashtag female fronted.
right. Hashtag female fronted. I hate that shit. But which is crazy to me because I'm like, girls have been in punk and hardcore literally for decades, like
There's
decades.
all girl
Like
punk bands.
there's
There's
all
eight
girl
labels.
punk
Yeah.
bands. Literally, I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? Like, okay,
It's not new.
No, it's not new at all. We've been here. You know what I mean? So that's why I think it's like weird. But because I've heard those things, I'm spiteful as fuck, and I want to make sure that we go as far as we possibly can. And another motivation to make sure that we do get out there as much as we can is because I personally have had a lot of young femmes and a lot of young women come to me directly and say things like, oh, I go to shows because of your band. Like, I've had people tell me, like, oh, I want to start a band because I saw you. And I think that's crazy because I'm like, we're just a silly little local band, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal to me, the band necessarily, like, I'm like, oh, we're rock stars or anything, not at all.
There was no expectations in the beginning.
None. I genuinely, like, the fact that people can look at our band or look at me as an individual and be like, oh, shit, like, I want to do that. Or, like, oh, I want to be more involved because, like, they're involved. Like, they can do this. Like, I think it's important because, like, they're seeing a brown, feminine person being involved and being in the scene and being, like, in this shit for real and being respected that way.
I think...
You know what I mean? Like I said, for me, when I was younger, like, I didn't get to see a lot of bands. Actually, I saw, like, no bands with, like, femmes or women in them. Very, very, very little when I was younger. You know what I mean? On the local scene, you know?
Yeah, locally, not so much.
Yeah, so it was really hard to find a band with a femme or female person in it in general. Not even just as a vocalist.
But there have been good ones, though.
That was,
There
No,
have
there
been a
have
lot.
been.
that was still around.
Right, but I mean, like, local.
Witch
here in
Hunt,
Tucson.
Nausea.
Yeah.
There's some, like, really sick hardcore bands that I've been into forever.
Right. But again.
But, no, you're
local.
right. And I
And,
think, and it doesn't diminish anything or play into anything either.
Yeah.
There is definitely the reality that, you being in this for a while and you guys being a pretty good band, and then the fact that the scene is opening up so much, I think that might draw spite from, like, other people,
Oh.
because there's so many more girls and
That's
stuff
fine.
involved in the
And
scene.
I love that shit.
No, it is, but
Yeah.
I'm saying
I think it was a good
they
time,
probably
a good
see it.
timing.
Yeah.
It was I feel like after the pandemic and all that, it was kind of like a new era, I guess you could say. There's a new era of, like, people who were exposed to the scene,
Yeah.
who were introduced and just, like, kind of embraced it as far as, like, what we're trying to, like, put out there, like.
But I'm saying people that want to hate are saying, oh, you guys are being a gimmick and ba ba ba. But it's like, you know, you're not single-handedly responsible for the fact that there's so many more females involved in it.
No.
And then the fact that you guys are out here just doing your thing, and now there's a lot more bands with women in it popping up.
Yeah, because that was.
And then they're like, oh, you guys are just being in on
the.
the fucking gimmick. It's like, no, dude, I'm just here.
No, exactly.
You know
I'm
what
just
I mean?
Existing. I've been here. Like, yeah, like we've been here this whole time. I've been here this whole time. Like, and I'm just existing, doing the same thing that a bunch of other dudes are doing. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing too, is like saying like, oh yeah, like I'm the reason is bullshit, and that discredits the women that came before me, the women that like allowed me to be here. You know what I mean? Like,
Or just the band in general.
yeah, absolutely. That discredits exactly my entire fucking band. That discredits my friends. That discredits like our entire process, our entire creative process.
But it all fucking works.
It all, yeah. And here's the thing. One of my friend Joshua told me something because I was like venting to him about it, and I was like, yeah, like I'm not gonna front. Like, I hate that some people are immediately like counting us out because they think, oh, it's just another fucking like trendy gimmicky band right
See a
now.
girl kind of pushing us.
Right, and immediately they're like, oh, whatever, like they're not really bad about it.
Every band's got girls.
Yeah, and like he told me, he's like, you know what, Jen? He's like, let them think that. Let them think whatever the fuck they want. He's like, if people want to give you attention because you're a girl, and if people want to hate on you because you're a girl, fucking let them. He was like, you're gonna gain momentum regardless. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I was like, you're right. I should not give a single fuck. And I stopped giving a fuck pretty much from that day on. You know what I mean? And like, it's just one of those things where, again, it's a spiteful thing where I love seeing all these young femmes and girls at shows. Because that brings me joy, because I know there are motherfuckers out there that are like, yeah, little girls at shows. Like, no. And I'm just like,
People that don't even go to shows anymore.
exactly. Fucking exactly. And that's the
Who
thing.
fucking
People
shitty
leave
ass old
themselves
Yeah,
out.
just a lot of. I mean, I've seen it. Like, you know, people like old heads will come out sometimes for big shows.
They
but
kind of
but
come out randomly.
And they'll
I
never,
think it's
they'll
a
never
lot
show
of
up
like
for,
lack of
the
awareness
local,
too, though,
like,
man.
You know, people.
There's a big
people
part of
that.
that.
When I first got in, like when I first got into hardcore, into the scene, I would see people often, and now I don't see a single one of them unless it's a big show. But they don't. You know, they used to preach, you know, support your scene, do this and this and that, whatever.
You know, from my
But now they
perspective,
don't.
dude, you know what the fucking bottom line is? And I'm a little fucking pissed off too, so I'm gonna put myself on the soapbox for a second, only because it's like there's a lot of motherfuckers and their whole fucking purpose, especially in this city, but I'm sure it applies everywhere. Their whole purpose for fucking playing or being in the scene was just to feel like they had some fucking control on something. They were never about the scene at large. They were never about, oh, I'm just doing this. They were just like, oh, if I play guitar, I get to fucking act like I'm important and blah, blah, blah. And the second it becomes less about them and about everything in general, then their ego's fucked up and they're like, oh, well, fuck this person and fuck that.
It's just not about them.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why you see less of those motherfuckers around now, even though back in the day they were, it's...
And people weed themselves out, regardless of whether it's like old heads who paid their dues and they've been here, but they...
Sometimes you just get tired.
Like, right, and the thing is too is like, I don't give a fuck how long you've been here. I don't give a fuck how long you've been coming to shows. I don't give a fuck how old you are. Eventually you're gonna have to adapt how things are fucking changing. Like, you're just gonna have to get the fuck over it. It's okay. It's not a big fucking deal. The reality of it is that, like, people, like, again, it's a double-edged sword. Hardcore becoming more accessible is cool because we get more opportunities. Like, I'm seeing, like, friends of mine being like, oh, hey, like, I can kind of make a living off of music now. And that's cool. Like, that's tight as fuck. But at the same time, you're going to get tourists that you're going to be like, oh, shit, like, these people think that this is easy, but it's not, or like they're gonna think that this is, you know, what's that saying? It's like hardcore is for everybody, but not for and yeah, exactly. Like hardcore is for anybody, but not for everyone. Like you can get into it, but eventually you will weed yourself out if you don't belong or if you're not really about it. Like the amount of that's why I never really worry about like the new jacks that try to like get in and out, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, people weed themselves out. The tourists will come, they will do their time, they will go. In the meantime,
Even then,
in the meantime, I will take their fucking money.
you can't
Exactly,
fucking,
as you say,
you
tourists.
can't wholly hate those, so long as they're not disrupting anything.
Right.
I mean, I'll give props. Someone's like not all about it, but they're like, yo, man, Friday night, like, let's go see a fucking hardcore show.
Right,
That's
exactly.
cool, dude.
That's tight. That's
like,
cool.
that's like
And
kind of
the
what you
thing,
want.
Too, is like, if you want to come through and you just once in a while, like that's cool.
Or even somebody trying to see a specific band, but it just happens to be on a hardcore bill. You know, like they discover it that way.
It's just like, you know, you don't have to be like ride or die to
No.
necessarily be like a cancer on the scene or something.
No, not at all.
And then, but then on the same token, I don't know, like I said, it's a lot of just ego, dude. A lot of people like to keep it condensed and they like to fucking judge everybody for literally everything, man.
You know,
I was joking with him.
A lot of gatekeeping, depending on who you talk to. But,
I used to
in
get-
general, it's
I used to get fucking shit, dude, when I was telling you. Like, I would tell my band, I'd be like, hey guys, you know, we can't play another show until we fucking tighten up, right? Because just don't want to do it. And, you know, we were decent, we would play whatever. And we're like, well, what the fuck do we do that for? That's not, it's like because fucking I don't want to suck, dude. You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, you're making me, like, show up to practice, man? It's fucking, I just want to get drunk and fuck 16-year-olds.
yeah.
It's like, fuck you, man. That's not really what we're supposed to be here for. But, so, going back, because that was a good whole part of it, but you guys have general, like, you guys are doing this for fun, but you want to take it as far as it can go without, you know, without necessarily fucking, I don't know what the right word is. You're not like, I'm gonna fucking get signed and make a ton
Hold
of
on,
money.
hold
but I
on.
wanna
If
do
Taco
that.
Bell wants to give me free shit,
Taco Bell
I will
also
take
fries.
free shit from
The
them.
black bean chalupa,
The
bro.
black bean chalupa, I deserve it. If anyone does, I deserve
You
it.
should get your tour sponsored by Taco.
I mean, I will, you know, I'll take
Feed the
whatever.
beef.
Here's the thing. I will take corporate money. Oh, show. Because realistically speaking, I want our band to be more than just a band, and I'm going to make sure that we do as much as we can to give back to communities that we come from. So I'm like, I'll take corporate money. I'm just going to put it back into the community, you know what I mean? I
Do
want to
it,
open
dude.
a venue, so if they want to sponsor that shit, they can hit me up.
I get the money. Because that would kind of suck, dude. If you had a venue and it was like, yo, the Taco Bell.
Oh, no, I mean, they could give me the
Taco
money.
Bell.
They could give
Yeah, I
me the
can
money.
take the money and then open.
They can't be involved in it.
Yeah, they can't.
What if you open up a Taco Bell?
What if you had a
But,
Taco
like,
Bell in the venue, though?
Yeah. Or
Actually, I take it back. That's
How about across the street from the venue?
See, that'd be so.
How about we just Taco Bell during the
good
day?
idea.
Yeah.
It's a venue.
But yeah, basically we're just kind of
Like
trying to take it as far as
Yeah,
we can.
just be like Denny's.
As much as we can for funsies.
What the fuck is up, Taco Bell?
So, all right, we got 3 more things on here. We've been going for a while, which is pretty cool. Is there anything else you guys want to bring up? Anything you feel you want to talk about? We talked about a lot. Don't worry, me neither. I'm just... Is there anybody in here? All 2 of the people watching this thing. One of them's you.
Just the one person that isn't Kevin.
For
Who's
no
in here?
Question.
I do want to say something that I think it should be said. Punk is meant for outcasts, and that will always include people of color, that will always include minorities, it's always going to include people from the lower class, it's gonna include everybody. And if you can't accept that, then you don't belong in there.
Yeah,
That's pretty fucking... I agree with you.
1000%.
And
I think that's something that hasn't been said enough lately.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of, again, the accessibility of people being able to get into hardcore and stuff like that, like, people just get into it for the trend or for the fun, but there's no, like,
for the people who don't fit the cookie cutter.
right, but there's no core values that they learned that came with that, you know what I mean? Like, hardcore and punk was for underdogs, for oppressed people.
well,
for
I think
people
that's
that
part of the
didn't fit
reason
in.
why the whole, you know, to keep it more, especially like lyrically speaking, I guess, to keep it more politically charged, more abrasive to actually make sure you're saying something in your songs
To make people think
is
about what
extremely
you're saying.
important, because anybody who wants to come through because it's cool or they want to be a tourist, then if you're making it explicitly clear what you're about, then they're going to get the message and they're either going to stick with it or they're going to move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of
So-
goes back to the thing of it's for everyone, but it's not meant for everyone.
Of course.
Everyone is welcome, but they're not for everyone.
But it's also good to get the message out to as many people as you can. And, you know, if you can make a little bit of fucking money and fucking funnel that back into the
On
movement,
top of that, yeah.
it's not a
Good.
bad thing, despite what any motherfucker wants to fucking say.
If you can self-fund yourself, self-fund what you're doing.
Absolutely. There's literally nothing wrong with that, dude. So when's the next show?
We have it October 21st and the 23rd.
And where are those going to be at for... I mean, there's two people in here. One of them's Kevin.
I know.
So, just so they know.
The 21st is at a house show, but they're both on our Instagram. The 23rd is at Congress.
Right on. And you guys are on Fortuna Malvada. What's your Instagram exactly?
Just that.
Just that?
Yeah.
At Fortuna Malvada. Fuck yeah. Alright, well shit. Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah.
I really want Taco Bell now.
Do you really? I don't think you should eat Taco Bell, bro.
I agree.
I totally think I should eat Taco Bell.
Listen.